What's overall better at high or low sense? I noticed that there's way more cracked players nowadays that play on a lower sense. I think it makes sense in this game in particular. I think all you need is a sensitivity where you can like turn to util or turn away from util. That's all you really need. You don't really need to like have something like too high, because you just need something where you can do this. As long as you can do a 180, this is all you really need to do, because if there's util like on your left, here. Like ideally, actually, I should have my sense like even slower than this. Like what should be a good sense for me to like theoretically perform my best is something like less than that. It would be like, I think that's why people use 0.1. Is 0.1 a perfect? Yeah, 0.1 is like, I think a perfect from one side of the mouse pad to the other is almost a perfect 180. It'd be like 0.9 or something. So like, let me check this. Even that's like still 0.08. Okay, that's too much. Let me try to do it. So one side of the mouse pad to the other, full rotation. Okay, you know what? I think 9 is fine. Like theoretically, it is mad slow, but if I needed to like turn away from util like really fast, because you don't even need to like do a full 180 to turn from util. Like if there's a flash in front of me, look at the range at which a flash will pop and I have to turn away from. So if I do like this, that's a turn away from a flash. But like, you don't really need to fully turn away from util, you know? Look at that. You just have to go like a quick like arm movement. So that's why like you don't really need a high sense. 0.09 is like ideal. I mean theoretically, because Valorant is all about what is it called? It's all about micro adjustments. It's all about micro adjustments and about target switching, which like I think target switching micro adjustments are really easy on a low sense, you know? Like it's very easy for me to transfer between these targets on a low sense compared to like if it was on a high sense. And most of your aiming is, I would say 70% of your aiming is going to be on a horizontal playing field. So you're just doing this motion a lot of the time. You're just keeping crosshair placement, doing this, right? That's like most of your gunfights. So unless you go for like the occasional flick, but like it is impossible to flick on it. Obviously, I can't really, I don't really play the sense. But yeah, so it's like technically that's like optimal. If we're talking about science, the only reason like for an example in like other TAC FPS titles, so like for example, Rainbow Six Siege, there's people that play really high sense. And the reason for like that in that game in particular is because every single gun one hits in the head and it's all high fire rate guns. So if you're like, and also it's like a lot of like baiting out like shots, like shooting the walls and then shooting someone else. Like it's very like ADHD, like you're always like moving around and doing something. So that's why like Siege is different than Valo. And then in terms of like CS versus Valo in terms of sensitivity, I think the average sensitivity of CS players would probably be like, I would say around like Valorant sense would be like 0.175, which is, it's like a medium sense where, because you have to like actually like fully like turn away from flashes and stuff, and your spray control, I think spraying is a lot easier on a higher sense, whereas spraying on a lower sense is a lot harder in my opinion. And because like spray transferring on high, you can do like a 180 trace spray transfer where you don't really like do that kind of in this game. You can still do that with like a low sense, but like it's way better in this game to just be more chill and like always trying to burst. Like you should never just like full commit into a spray. There's like one example of full committing to a spray where I think is good, and it's like what Nats does when he plays. If anyone has seen it, it's like when Nats get a kill, sometimes he just holds his spray on the angle where he knows people are going to run out of, and then they like basically just like run into his spray. I lowered my sense way more when I started playing Val after playing CS for years. Yeah, like if you see a lot of these crazy kids, I'm gonna just use Hyunmin as an example because that guy's aim is absurd. For an example, you can see that like it's all just like micro adjustments for him. He's just like micro adjusting. These 4 kills he just got, they were basically relatively all like centimeters, millimeters away from each other. Like in this clip right here, when he's getting the kills, they're all like running into him, right? They're all running into him like this. Like that's just the way that the game is, right? It's all on like this very like narrow, slow moving targets. So you don't really need like a crazy sensitivity for this. You're not like constantly like 180ing and stuff. That's why I think like, and also if you notice, he's always like bursting and always like tapping. Like it's like a controlled burst into like tapping. Right here, that was a spray, but like controlled burst, another controlled burst. Like he's not like full committing to a spray and trying to like spray transfer it. So you don't really need a high sensitivity for this. It's literally just micro adjustments. If you can just micro adjust properly, then you're able to, what is it called? You're able to just like fry harder. But also, I do think it's easier to be better on a lower sensitivity more consistently than it is on a high sense. But because it's easier to be better, then it allows you to actually focus rather than on your mechanics alone. Because your mechanics, it's just easier to do stuff, right? So if your mechanics are always like always just consistent or always like just better, then you can focus more on your fundamentals of the game and actually making the right decisions to put you in spots to frag out like this. Whereas like on a high sense, bro, you're gonna have to be like grinding like aim labs and like that day by day just to like play good. Excuse me, player 3 aka Clove.
Yeah, what's good?
What sensitivity are you rocking right now?
0.145 at 800.
0.145?
Actually?
Oh my god. See, for an example, you don't see sensitivities this low. Bro, that's insanely low.